Today's project is to replace the 4 spark plugs in this 1988 Mazda RX7 Turbo. There's a total of 4 spark plugs, 2 leading and 2 trailing. The trailing spark plugs have a T on them and 2 blue stripes along the top. The leading spark plugs have an L on them. Since the car sits so low, I had to add a piece of plywood to the ramp for clearance. Due to budget constraints, I had to use a piece of firewood as the wheel chock. Use one on each side. This is one of the 4 spark plugs. This shows how difficult it would be to remove the spark plugs from the top of the engine. Now that I'm under the car, I have the option to remove this protective plate to give you more space. To remove the plate, you have to remove 6 10mm bolts. For this spark plug change, I'm going to leave the protective plate on the car. Leaving the plate on will make the working space pretty tight, but still possible. First, I'm going to remove the spark plug wires. Let's get the wrench and break them loose. Now we can take them out by hand. For the bottom spark plug, you'll have to push the cable harness up to give you more space for the wrench. Once you break it loose, you can unscrew it by hand. You can see how dirty the old plugs are compared to the new ones. Now for the new plugs. First, the trailing plug on top. You can screw it in most of the way by hand. After you put the trailing spark plug in on top, you can put the leading spark plug in below. Then tighten them up with your wrench. Get them nice and snug. Now I'm going to put the wires back on. Be sure to put the blue wires on the top spark plug.
It's got a good fit.
If you remove the protective plate, you can replace it with 6 10mm bolts. Because the RX7's combustion chamber runs so hot, it's recommended that you replace the spark plugs every 10,000 miles. I hope this helps with the next spark plug change on your RX7.